Make sure my recording's on. Okay, awesome. All right. Hi, everybody. It's great to be with you guys today. I am pumped to spend the next 15 minutes with you guys. I've got kind of a short and sweet little training that I want to do. And, I think it's really cool because, a lot of you guys have heard this saying where it talks about like, just becoming the best version of you. We've heard the saying like, like pulling the best out of each other, but how do you actually pull the best out of yourself? Right? How do you pull the best out of yourself? Right? What a question. Like no one had really asked me that. And I had actually heard it listening to an audio a couple years back. And I thought, oh wow, like that, it really kind of hit me hard. And I am going to share with you guys actually 6 habits that really are things that help me pull the best out of me. And so I want to jam with you guys on there and talk with you guys about. I'm actually going to look over my notes a little bit because I've got a lot of things I want to share with you guys. But I think it's really important when we talk about, the habits is that you just got to kind of figure out like which ones really matter for you, right? And this actually can be applied like in so many different areas of our life. And one of the things that I wrote down, when kind of piecing together this training is that, if you can't lead yourself, you can't lead a team, right? And I know all of us on here, our goal is to lead some great teams over the years, right? And so the best way to do that is to, really find, habits that really serve us in a big, big way. And the first habit that I want to that I wrote down that has really helped me is the word clarity. Okay. And I think that any high performer, anybody that's an achiever, like their number one thing that they focus on is clarity in everything. I mean, they don't stop with something until they get clear on it. And it's so important, especially in our business, to be clear on where we're going. What does our ideal customer look like? What does our ideal social marketer look like? What's a perfect day in our business, right? But also not just like the clarity piece of like where we're going in the vision, right? I think, for those of you that have never done a vision board before, I would encourage you to do it. I know, the first time I ever did a vision board, it felt kind of weird. I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of cutting these pictures out of a magazine and putting it on this cardboard. Like, this is kind of weird to me. But what's so cool is that it just helped me start visualizing what was possible for my business, right? And having that vision that was very clear. It's crazy because there's so many things on my vision board that have actually to come to fruition over the last 20 years. And every year I try to update my vision board and change it out, and it's just so cool because the vision board piece for me helped me just get really clear on not just where I was going, but what I wanted to get out, right, of my business. And I think too, it's also getting clear. The one of the ways that you get really clear in your business, like I always sit down probably on a quarterly basis and I look at like what are the holes in my business, right? Like what are the holes that are in my business right now that I need to figure out how to fill it, right? What are the next like 2 skills that I need to learn how to master? And I know for those of you that are taking notes, like figure out like what are the holes in my business, right? If you imagine if you had a big bucket and you had holes, like what are the holes there that need to get plugged, right? What are the few skills that I need to learn, right? And what happens a lot of times is that the more learn the skills of this business, guess what happens? Your vision gets clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer, right? Because you gain the confidence and you've just got this amazing path to run on and you feel confident running on it because you do have those skills, right? And so for me, I look at, what are the skills I need to master, right? What are the holes that are in my bucket, the holes that are in my business? I also wrote down another question that I asked myself is, do you leave your growth to randomness, right? Do you say, oh, is this going to be, random if I happen to grow, or are you really intentional and you have a lot of clarity on personal growth, right? Like getting better, every single day, not just in your business, but really in every area of your life, right? Um, one of the things that I wrote down too is the question that I ask myself sometimes as well as I wrote, what is going to be meaningful for me in the next month? What is going to be meaningful for me in the next year? One thing too is that, especially with where we're at right now in our business, is that, you know, having reverence in the moment is so important, you guys, because when you do, you realize that life is short. You realize life is short. And when life is short, guess what? Like, you've got a sense of urgency, right? You've got a sense of you take the action, you do the things, you do what you need to do each day to grow your business because you know that. And I will tell you, like, especially the timing in our business, like it's such an incredible season right now. But I will tell you, it does feel like the clock is ticking a little bit. Okay. Not saying in 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, we're not going to have all incredible businesses that are growing. We definitely are. But there's always seasons inside of a company that you just go through some massive, massive growth. And here we are literally walking right into it right now. Like it is right there, right? It's so powerful. And what else did I write in here for my notes on here? That when you have the reverence in the moment, right? When you know that life is short, you have clarity. Like, you have serious clarity. Like, some of you guys, you don't need an alarm clock to get up in the morning right now because you know what's happening in your business. Like, I don't need an alarm clock. I know where we're at. I know what's happening in our business. I know that, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, today's the day to make it happen, right? I realized that, you know, I do my best to really treat every single day in my business like it's the last day of the month. Think about it. If you treated your business like the last day of your month every day, what would your business look like? What would your business look like? For some of you, you're like, holy cow, like, think about how much your business a lot of times grows at the last day of the month. If you did that every day, a lot of you guys, your business would be tripled in a month, because if you had that singular focus and clarity on, every day is the end of your month. And that's exactly how Tony and I, we work our business like that every single day. Okay, so habit number 2 that I focus on is generate energy. Sarah, every day I focus on generate energy. Okay, that is a huge habit for me. I am very conscious of it. I willfully talk about it all the time. This is what I wrote: bring the joy, exclamation point. Every day I bring the joy, mentally, emotionally, physically, in every area of my life. I write it down. One of the things I wrote down is, I wrote down that every day I talk about, I am here and I am proud and joyous to be in the moment. I am blessed to actually be on this Zoom today. I am blessed to be alive. I am blessed to have a phone call. I'm blessed, right? And it's taking on that, phrase of, it's not the I have to do this, it's I get to do this, right? So every day in my business, it's the I get to make one more call. I get to do one more three-way chat. I get to talk to one more person about being a customer. I get to share my link one more time, right? Versus what's opposite a lot of times what happens with us, right? It's the other way around, right? So for us, it's the we choose to, right? And so in everything that I possibly do, even in the bad times, even in the times that I'm crabby, I have to willfully choose to bring the joy all the time. And when I choose to do that, guess what? I generate the energy. And the energy is what's attractive in your business. That's where all of a sudden you get a new customer and you're like, I don't even know where she came from, right? Or all of a sudden someone reaches out to you and says, hey, I want more information on the business. And you don't really even remember talking to them. Or it's all of a sudden like just little things happen. It's because of that energy that you attract people into your life, right? So you have to be thinking, like, am I generating activity, or am I generating energy every day? Or am I looking around to see where I could actually get the energy, right? It's about you being the one that brings it every single day. Okay, so habit 2, I generate energy everywhere I go. I'm going to read you a couple of these things too. This is what sentence that I wrote down. What can I be excited about today? I tell myself all the time, what can I be excited? What can you be excited about today, guys? Right? You know what? Do me a favor. Drop me in the chat. What can you be excited about today? I want you guys to give me some of your answers. I want to see some of them, right? What can I be excited about today? Okay. Here's a couple other things I wrote down too. What might trip me up? What might stop me, right, from, you know, being the best that I can be today? What might trip me up? What might cause me to stumble, right? Because then I know how to handle it, right, and make sure like I keep generating that activity. Another one I wrote down. I love this one. I actually wrote this is a two part. Who can I surprise today, or who can I celebrate today? Who can I surprise today? Who can I celebrate today? Right? Because that is definitely generating activity to people. That is definitely bringing the joy, right, to people every day. Habit number 3 is raise necessity. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm loving all your stuff in the chat. It's so cool. Okay, so raise necessity. So here's a couple things that I wrote down for this. Okay. I wrote down, I'm a person of excellence and I'm going to do a good job here. So raising necessity for me are making sure that I make it happen. There is, I love this. Oh my gosh, I wrote this down. It says, Sarah, don't let someone suffer because of your inaction today. Oh, you guys hear that? Don't let someone suffer because of your inaction today. So, because you don't reach out to someone, because you procrastinate, because we don't tell the story, because we think our story doesn't matter, because we're in a crabby mood, right? We don't do that, right? And here it's about, making sure that we show up differently, right? And I wrote down it's your mission, it's your purpose, it's your it's your duty, right? Some of you guys said you lost your video. I don't know how. I'm still going, so I'll keep on moving. We'll see what happens here. It says my video's on. Is my video on or is it gone? I'm back. Okay, I don't know. Here I am. By the way, do you guys like my shoulder pads? Shoulder pads are coming back. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but they are. Anyways, okay. So I wrote down here too, find something or someone to fight for, right? Somebody needs you to get to the next level. So that means like somebody needs you to do that Facebook Live that you might not want to do. Somebody needs you to do that post that you're a little bit nervous about being vulnerable for. Somebody needs you to do that next TikTok because they need that lean body system, right? Somebody needs you to do something, right? To help that, to get to that next level, right? I just love that. Habit number 4, okay, is increase productivity. I have a habit of increasing productivity. I wrote down here, learn to love the art of winning each day. Learn to love the art of crossing the finish line, right? Learn to fall in love with the art of crossing the finish line. Oh, so good. And you guys know this all the time, right? We've heard it a gazillion times. It's like, win your morning, win your day, right? I wrote down this. I have this actually on an index card. What must I do with excellence today? What must I do with excellence today? Right? And I think this is so important, the increasing productivity. I just think that for me it's about, what are the things that I can do that I can say that I did it, right? Having that checklist, having a couple things on that each day I can say I did it, but also more importantly being that person that is that finisher. You know what I mean? Like whatever I say that I'm going to do, I do. I am, being that finisher, breaking that quitting cycle. If I think for some of us, especially women, it's like it's so easy for us to just always say yes. And because of that, we tend to get overwhelmed. We feel like we got a lot of stuff on our plate. And because of that, like we end up quitting a lot of things, right? It's not hard for a lot of us to start, but it is hard for a lot of us to finish. So it's learning how to say no, right, to the wrong things so you can say yes to the right things. And that will help you when it comes to increasing productivity, right? Number 5 is develop influence. Okay, so my habit is developing influence, and I love this. One of the ways that I develop influence, guys, is that I chose to make decisions that I really fought for long term, right? And what I mean by that is I tell people like sometimes it's easy for us to make a decision, but it's standing by that decision and like fighting for that decision every single day. That's the hard part. And, I wrote down on here, I wrote, if they know that you made a decision, they will follow you because you're leading out. Do you know what I mean? And I think that making a decision and really sticking to it, that's what helps you become attractive in this business. I mean, people know that they're like, she and also what happens too is that when you do stick to that decision, people see the consistency in your business. They see the consistency in you, right? And consistency is so attractive. I've had more people that have joined my business because they've told me that we've been super consistent in certain areas, and they're like, that shows me that you're reliable. That shows me you can be counted on. That shows me like that we know that you got us no matter what. And they don't, and these are people that didn't know anything about mode air. They didn't know anything about the product or the comp plan. Like, they didn't even care about that. They cared about the character of knowing that they've got someone that they can rely on, right? And that all goes back to the decisions that I make, but also defending those decisions day in and day out and day in and day out shows those character traits, right? Which is so important. And that's really how I developed the influence in my business over the last 8 years. Last one that I want to talk to, okay, is what I focus on is I demonstrate courage. Okay. What does that mean? That means that I do it scared no matter what. That means that I do it scared no matter what. I am, you know, doing it no matter in the fear of, I'm doing it because I know that, you know, every time that I feel a little bit fearful, I know that it's helping me grow. It's helping me get out of my comfort zone. I know that it's something that's stretching me. I know that if I'm not afraid to do something, that I'm not necessarily in like the success zone, right? And so for me, it's like I've learned how to flip the script, so to speak, on the fear piece where, for me, I ask myself this question like every day. I'm like, how can I demonstrate courage? How can I demonstrate courage to my kids? How can I demonstrate courage to my spouse? How can I demonstrate courage to my neighbors? How can I demonstrate courage to the leaders of my business, to prospects, to my team, right? And I think that that is really attractive for people because they go, you know what? Like, she still did it and she was scared. I know I can do that too. And I just look at all the times that I was so nervous to do things. And it's crazy because a lot of those things ended up turning into some of the biggest assets that I have in my life, where I just thought at the beginning that those were things that were quote unquote my weaknesses. And the reality is they ended up not being. So I look for ways in my life every day that I can demonstrate courage every day. Like when I have that, oh my gosh, I'm scared. It's the when that happens, I'm like, Sarah, like that means you're supposed to do it. That's what I tell myself. That means you're supposed to do it, Sarah. So like rip the band-aid off and like just get it over with. And so I do it, whether it's good, bad, ugly, like all the above. I just find ways to demonstrate that courage piece. So I think every day, guys, you got to ask yourself, how am I pulling the best out of myself? Right? What are the habits in my life that really matter? And for me, it's the clarity, getting clear, right? It's the generating energy. It's the raising necessity, right? It's the increasing productivity. It's developing influence. And then the last one is demonstrating courage, right? So I hope you guys got some great value out of today. I am super excited for the week that we've got ahead together. It's going to be a big, big week. But I appreciate you guys. I honor you guys. And I look forward to connecting with you guys really soon. Have a great one, guys. We'll talk to you later.